So I looked all over the internet and tried finding tutorials on how to change out your own lock on a Acura MDX, specifically 2010, but I think this applies to any of them from a 2007 to a 2013. So in the situation, what happened was the lock stopped working when I would have to use the key fob, for example, and do an unlock, and all the doors would unlock except for the one door, and I had to reach in manually and reach in and do it myself, which was becoming kind of a pain in the butt. So I went on eBay and found the part I needed and ordered the part. The part looks like this. This is actually the way it was orientated into the door. So this is the right hand rear door, which is the passenger side, the rear passenger's door. You can see the R right there, right hand. So what you have to do to get to this, here's the lock. You will have to first take off the door panel, and what you have to do is get a better if you can get a like vinyl or plastic pry bar. You have to take off this right here. Underneath here there are some screws. You'll see down here and right around here there's a little slot you can kind of get a tool into, and you pop these off. You pop this off here, and also you'll want to take this, and there's a little notch in here. Take this off, and there's a screw under here too. I'll show you what it looks like when it's removed. Here's the part removed. You'll see that there's some clips on the back here that keep it in place. And once the trim is removed, you'll see where there's a screw that goes in here. There's a screw that goes in here. You'll see a screw here. I believe actually you don't have to remove that one, but you do have to remove this one. And then you also see there are two screws behind that little panel right there. And once you remove those, you can then use that plastic pry bar, and you want to start at the bottom right corner here, and once you do that you can go all the way around and you can start basically pulling off this panel. Now once you do that, the panel is held on by a lip up here, so you want to actually lift up. So lift up, and then it comes off. Now you'll see these cables here. These cables actually attach to the back of the handle inside on the door panel. One is the lock and one is the actual handle. That actually connects to the lock that I showed you earlier. And that lock is actually not accessible. You'll actually have to remove it to get to it, and disconnect these cables that I just showed you. The cables run to the lock inside, and what you're going to want to do is remove these 3 screws, and you're going to want to remove this screw. You're going to want to detach this plug, like so. And ultimately what you need to do is remove this screw. Now inside here is a channel for the glass. That holds the glass in place when it goes down, but that is actually blocking the lock from coming out because these cables go underneath there. And you cannot remove these cables until you take the lock out. So what you're going to need to do is remove this also, but you need to be careful because there's a metal spacer that is not attached to the channel. So when you are removing this, this is a 10mm socket. So what you want to do is use one hand to loosen this with the other hand inside, holding on to that spacer, because that spacer will drop to the bottom of the door and it will be difficult to get. So make sure you hold with one hand on the inside that spacer, and then use your socket wrench on the outside with a 10mm. This will be this insulation here will be attached. You will have to pry that off. There is like a gooey substance that kind of holds it in place. But you'll have this little bracket here. I'm sorry, not bracket, but little fitting that basically snaps into place here. So once you remove that, this screw here and this screw here and these three, you can actually go inside here with your hand. You will not be able to see what's going on, but you can feel it. There's a channel down there that I referenced that holds the glass in place. Once you remove this screw here, you will be able to move that channel around a little bit, not a whole lot, but it'll move enough to allow you to pull out the lock. Now inside there, when you pull this lock out, you will see, I've already done this, so I cannot show this to you, but there will be a plastic cover over this. There's going to be a screw right here you got to remove, and when that screw is removed, the plastic cover can come off of the part. This plastic cover will be on your old part. You'll want to remove that cover, and when you do that, you will see those cables that I referenced earlier right here. These cables right here will be attached right here. You can pry these off. These will slide out, and one cable will be attached to here, and once you get the cable pried off, you can lift it up and finagle it to where it comes out of this little hole here. And then the second one is actually connected to this. You will have to remove it and make it to where it's basically perpendicular to this, and then you will have to move the cable away from you, and it'll eventually come out, and you're gonna have to do the exact opposite of steps when you put the cable back on the new part. So if you just reverse everything I told you, you will be able to successfully change your own part. I did get this part off eBay. I believe I paid $38 for it. It was brand new. One more thing that I need to mention to you is that inside there, there will be a bar. This bar right here. This came with my part, but I didn't need to use it. I guess if maybe the bar is damaged, you have a part, but it came with my part, but I didn't need to use it. This actually is connected on the inside like this, or like this. I'm not quite sure because you can't see it, but you can feel it. But it's actually connected to the handle here. And when you pull on a handle, it pushes down on this bar. And this bar actually connects to this here. So it looks kind of like this when it's in the door. So you will want to make sure you put that back in. You will not be able to see what you're doing, but you can feel it. So it's going to be something like this. So when someone presses down on that, this is kind of hard to do with one hand. So when someone presses down on that, it'll actually open the lock. So you need to make sure you do that too before you close everything up. Primarily you want to do that before you actually put the screws on here. So I hope that helps. I didn't have anything to look up, so I thought I'd make a video for everybody. If you have any questions, just put some on the bottom there and I'll answer them. All right, thanks. Have a good day.